Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad. This is episode 106 on November 7th, 2018. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Well, hello.
And Jimmy Tremmel.
Hello everyone.
Matt, you missed last week. You got abducted by trick-or-treaters. You made it home safely?
Well, this guy right here, he went, he went out trick or treating for like a couple hours and got a huge load of candy. So yeah, it was fun.
All right. Rock on. Jimmy, where are you? That is not your studio.
No, I'm not in my usual spot. I'm actually here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm here on a business trip again.
I do not miss that place.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Actually, the headquarters of the company I work for, this is where they're located in Virginia Beach. So I'm here for a business meeting tomorrow. All day meeting tomorrow. So yeah. Not in good old West Palm Beach, Florida tonight.
All right. Well, at least you're someplace. Yeah.
It's pretty easy to tell that Jimmy's not in his normal place because there's not enough wood in the background. You got to have those.
There's no balloons on the floor.
Beautiful wood. And
there's no bookcase. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No printer.
Yeah.
Hey, the printer's my favorite part.
Excuse me.
Alrighty. Hey, since we are getting into this, why don't we check out what is in the news? What you got?
Sure. Well, we're going to start with a story about Spotify. Anybody remember when Spotify was actually on your Roku player? For a while there, it's been removed for, I can't even remember the reason why they removed it. But the good news is it's officially coming back. If you have a Roku with Roku OS version 8.2 or higher, you will now be able to get your Spotify service back on your Roku screen.
Awesome. I kind of miss it. But I can't say that I listen to Spotify on the... I listen to Spotify a lot, but not necessarily on the Roku. But
I know people that love their Spotify, and I totally understand it. It's got a free service, which is pretty good, and the paid service gets you almost everything. So I've never really been into it, so really I don't miss it, obviously, because I never got into that kind of thing. But I used to be the Pandora guy. For the longest time, and Pandora was on every box, including the Roku.
Wait, and you opened Pandora's box?
Yes, I opened Pandora's box, and it was awesome. But no, because we'd be able to put music on, and every single device had it. So Spotify, which is pretty much everywhere, I'm surprised it was off. I want to know, why was it off?
Yeah, I think it went away because Roku has done a couple major redesigns to their platform and how the apps were developed. And if Spotify, I think it was one of those redesigns that Spotify just didn't get around to redoing their app, and it didn't work anymore. So
the app here says disappeared last year because of technical issues.
Yeah, that was I think it was version 8 when they rolled out version 8 when they did a major redesign of how everything was written, because I know there were other apps that kind of went away for a little bit because they didn't get them updated in time. So, rock on. Welcome back, Spotify.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I'll say about that, right? I kind of get it a little bit. Spotify on Roku. Roku. Most people are using Roku to watch television, but so you might ask, say, well, why would you want Spotify music service on your television or as a television app, right? But some people who have maybe a surround sound system or something like that hooked up to their television, it's a good venue to play music, through your home surround sound system or stereo system.
I used to do that. I used to do that with my original Google TV, because that TV was hooked up to the main system in my living room, whereas my computer wasn't. So I could play music. I just, people are over. You're not paying attention to sitting down watching TV. Yeah, just throw some music on there and let it go. Rock on. Welcome back.
So you mentioned that they probably got left the platform due to Roku OS 8, and it notes at the end of this article here that we have Roku OS 9 coming any day now.
Except the new version is not a redesign in how it's 9 is like the other updates where they're making significant changes to the platform, but not how it's coded, not how it's, so.
Okay. All right. CBS has decided that all of us need to have that stupid song stuck in our head 24 hours a day.
What
They're
song
providing
is that?
us. It's that song that starts and is played through Entertainment Tonight. Because guess what? You're now going to have an Entertainment Tonight Stone streaming service for 24 hours, 7 celebrity news available for you for free. Oh God, please. Oh.
Well, at least it's for free, right?
It'll be available for you to watch right now on services including Android, iOS, Apple TV, and Fire TV, with more platforms coming soon. Is this what you want? Is this the kind of thing that you asked for, people? Is this the thing that... Oh, why?
Honestly...
I don't know. If it comes with commercials, no. But if it comes commercial free or at least very limited commercials, then yeah, I could see.
It does say live streaming, so that would tell me that yes, it's going to just be broadcasting the live TV stream over the interwebs, which means there will be commercial breaks. I don't know. I honestly didn't know that this show was still on the air. I thought they canceled it after John Tesh left to pursue his music career. and that's not a joke. He's actually a really good, pianist.
No,
but yeah,
I'm only laughing because I thought the same thing.
Yeah, him and Mary, was it Mary Hart?
Yeah, Mary Hart. Yeah.
So,
and then who was the lady that replaced her, who does the Academy Awards sometimes?
Was that the? I don't know.
I can't remember her name now.
All I've got to say is the song from Entertainment Tonight is now in my head, and it'll be in my head for the rest of the night. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
All right, Apple is possibly going to find a way of bringing their Beats One channel to your broadcast radio. What's happening here is that iHeartRadio is in trouble.
That's my response to that.
iHeartRadio is a little bit of trouble. They announced bankruptcy and that they're $20 billion in debt. It looks like Apple may be investing in iHeartRadio, which has a lot of radio stations, of actual terrestrial radio stations available to them, for them to send a lot of their own music out on. So this investment might allow Apple to provide their Beats One radio station broadcast to the various iHeartRadio radio stations.
So if they're adding this to terrestrial radio stations, would that make it an extra terrestrial radio station?
I'm going to say yes.
I would say yes as well.
So it's the ET.
I'm not arguing with that.
Brought
I think
to you
that
by
makes
CBS
and Apple.
And Apple.
And iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio, Apple, Liquid Retina display. It's a jumble of words there. So I don't understand. So actually, there's some people who really love this Beats One radio station. It's supposed to be like a really great curated music scene that a lot of people like to listen to. Those people that are influential, they're people who watch are on the Apple platforms. Too bad I'm not. Also, I probably wouldn't care about the music anyways. But this is the kind of stuff that used to be really popular for jocks. The various radio jockeys out there who were making this, their own lists of the movies of the various musics that was really popular out there. And maybe this is a good thing to come back and be something for people to listen to. I don't know. Is there any music anymore that isn't offensive that can be played on the radio?
I don't know. All I know is I know they've been doing this big push trying to get people to buy iHeartRadio. iHeartMedia basically became the new Clear Channel and stepped in and I think bought a lot of radio stations that were gonna basically go away. I wondered how they were gonna do that, how they were gonna make money, and it sounds like they aren't.
We're gonna be something we hope somebody buys. Yay!
They were the Movie Pass model before Movie Pass.
And they made it to the show somehow. How do they always make it to the show? Movie Pass, go away! You're dead!
Don't go away,
Go away!
Because it's been almost a year and I can finally sign back up with my original account.
You're gonna sign up with it before
probably.
it dies?
Probably. But that's another story. Yeah, I don't know if they want to do this, if they can do this. Okay. I don't see it going very well.
Yeah, I don't see it going very well, but maybe this is, Apple trying to get in there to get the attention of some of the customers who are loyal to that service, right? I don't know how many customers they have or how many subscribers they have to that service, right? But maybe it's that, right? Maybe they're trying to, just get in there to influence those subscribers to, hey, come subscribe to Apple Music or some other Apple service that they have coming down the pipe. Maybe that's the angle.
Yeah. I will say one thing though in regards to this. I think it's funny that after all this time, the only terrestrial radio that is still relevant and still has a decent listener base is AM. FM was supposed to kill AM, and all these years later, it's FM that's dying, and AM is still going strong.
Nah, I still listen to 107.7 the end, so it's all good.
But
yeah, I do miss Coast to Coast with Art Bell.
Well, Art Bell isn't doing it anymore, but Coast to Coast still on every weekend. I just listened to it last Saturday.
Yeah, I like this show.
All right.
All right. Well, if you were a person who went out and bought one of the new Sonos speakers, particularly the Sonos One, and knew that they were going to be covering multiple different video voice assistants with their product, they promised when they were going to get into using the Alexa assistant that they would also start to use other ones, including Google's assistant.
And that's why I was going to run out and get one.
And they haven't done that yet. Unfortunately, they have been delayed, and they're now going to have this. They've now promised to have the assistant available for all users in 2019. But they're going to be starting a new beta program very soon for more people to try out if they want to try it out soon. So. So this is good, if you ask me, that they're actually going to be a follow-up in what they promised they would do. It's sad that they, are being late. But
yeah, I'd rather them push it and have it right than put it out now and have it not work. Because then people will just drop it and be like, well, it doesn't work. And it will always forever be the thing that didn't work.
I just don't understand how hard it would be to, send the voice samples to this server instead of that server and take the responses from that server and then play them back.
Well, you got to remember that not that long ago, Sonos was the system that when you fired it up, it knocked out Wi-Fi within range. So
I did not remember that. No,
I'll tell you that story when we're done.
I think you've told me about Best Buy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just didn't remember.
Knock
Sorry.
out every time they would turn on the demo, it would knock out all the Wi-Fi. Well, that was it when N was wasn't completely ratified yet, so there was lots of people using different specs, and there was versions of N routers out there that you'd turn it on, and basically everyone in your neighborhood would have their networks would disappear. But and Sonos was one of those devices that you want it to hook up to your network, but you turn it on and your network disappears. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Sonos is still kind of an expensive, like niche product. There, you've got the
Yeah, but
dedicated Sonos people, but
Yeah.
it doesn't appeal to everybody. So
Right.
yeah.
So the Sonos is a brand that is higher than your average in quality of speakers. I don't know if audiophiles would say that they're actually not that good compared to something else, kind of argument, but they are considered upper, at least higher than your standard stuff, and also they are very popular with a lot of people because of that ability to use them inside your house and get multiple speakers working very quickly and easily, something that nobody was able to do for the longest time, or not easily. So they kind of got a name for themselves as being this easy to use speaker system. And also, when the Apple HomePod came out, they came out with their Sonos One and said you could buy 2 of these for the price of those and get stereo.
That's true. I remember that.
So maybe they aren't that expensive.
Yeah. So two Sonos Ones for the price of,
Or less than the price of one.
yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. Prices are
Well,
insane.
somebody else is opening up their voice assistant.
Yeah, let's see if Sonos picks up Samsung's Bixby. Bixby has been opened up for developers to use. Do anybody remember that cauldron that they announced like a year ago? It showed off again.
Cauldron with the tripod.
Exactly. It's so they can get more bass out of the bottom. That's what they said. Anyways, they've decided that they have opened up their program for all those developers. Now, interestingly enough, they haven't had a lot of luck with this. Apparently, they offered $500 to the first 50 developers who would, make a program for this, and only 30 applied. So, for $500 free dollars, make an app.
So it's opened up to developers, and to all of those developers, my thoughts and prayers go out. So. We have you in our hearts, Bixby developers.
I will say I do kind of like the design of that speaker. Right?
No. What do you like about it? I want to know. What is it that you like?
I'm going back to it.
Yeah, I like the so yeah. Put it back up. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I like the design of it. Actually, I kind of like this, right? But the minute that you put that Bixby assistant in there, yeah, I mean that just kind of puts a damper on the whole thing, right?
I don't understand this. They could have done just take the legs off, and it would have been at least not that weird.
It makes
looking.
sense that they do that because
Yeah.
just like doing Bixby, just like them approaching Tizen, Samsung has made it their goal to be the Android version of Amazon, be everything proprietary and sleek. Because I mean, this is something that I could imagine early Apple, like early 2000s Apple putting out,
Mm-hmm.
And I think Samsung went into the we want to be Apple mode a little too deep, and we got that. Looks kind of like a Scandinavian inspired. I don't know.
It sure does look like the bottom half of a lava lap.
I mean, it's not too terrible of a design. It's just their Bixby platform. I mean, that's the damper on the whole thing. I mean, if they had made it open to like Android, the Google Assistant or something of that sort, then I think this would have done pretty well.
See,
But being that Bixby that nobody uses and nobody's going to use, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised even 30 developers signed up for this.
as Matt and I, or as Mike and I talked about after CES last year, or earlier this year, even the Bixby House demonstration that was on Rails, pre-programmed, didn't work. They couldn't even get their pre-programmed on Rails thing where the lady's talking to it, but doesn't actually have to talk to it, because if you don't say anything, it still does the next thing. And that didn't even work. So if that didn't work, how am I going to trust the thing that's supposed to be autonomous? So yeah,
Okay, Samsung, here's how you save yourself. Spend a buttload of money and license the use of the name and the voice of Jarvis. Rename your thing Jarvis instead of Bixby. Have it say sir or ma'am at the end of everything it does. People will buy that.
Oh, I thought
Doesn't
you were going to
matter.
say, get Bill Bixby to be the voice.
No, all it has to do is just say, "I can't do that, sir. I can't do that, ma'am," and just get it right. You get it based on your app. Are you a boy or a girl? Just or whatever, and just have it. Just get that name and get that voice on there, and people will buy that. And people say, "Yeah, I got Jarvis on my phone. I talked to Jarvis about." People will just buy that.
See, Bad Weave approves of that.
I know.
Although, I mean, that's what everybody hoped that Microsoft was going to do with Cortana when they announced Cortana, and everybody freaked out. They're like, "We're getting Cortana," and then when it came out, it wasn't the Cortana from Halo that everybody was hoping. They missed a perfect opportunity.
Bad Weave says, "I think that Paul Bettany is going to want more than $500 from Samsung, though."
Yeah.
I'm sure you're right.
They'll pay him in OLED TVs.
Yeah.
All the CES leftovers, they just ship them to Paul Bettany's house. All right. Well, Hulu. I heard Hulu's got a windfall.
Oh yeah, Hulu's launched 2 more of their little add-ons for their service. One of them, which is a Spanish-speaking one, which has things like NSBC Universo, CNN en Español, ESPN Deportes, History Channel en Español. How's my accent there? And it's a little add-on for $5 to get your Spanish-speaking channels. And of course, they've also added the entertainment add-on, which gives different things like DIY Network, CNBC World, the Cooking Channel, Lifetime Movies, but except one little thing. Those 2 on there, the FYI channel and Lifetime Movies, were already as part of your package before. They've been moved into this new entertainment package. It's $8 a month.
That sounds nefarious.
If you were watching Hulu because you love Lifetime Movies or FYI, you have to pay $8 more a month.
Jimmy, you're gonna lose your Lifetime movies.
Yeah, that's kind of yeah. So I like the fact that they're taking it. I guess, or at least I hope. Let's put it that way. I hope this is their first foray into international channels. Right? Great that you bring the Spanish channels into there. That's really good. I like that. But I'd like to see them follow it up with other European channels, such as maybe Eastern European, perhaps maybe German or French channels as well. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, them all.
But yeah, bring more of that into there. I hope this is just the first into that, but I'm afraid typically when I see something like this happens, they bring in the Spanish channels and then they stop right there, right? They don't bring anything more, right?
Well, that's partly due to the fact that we already have here in the U.S. a lot of Spanish programming due to our proximity with Mexico.
Sure.
So it's it's like usually a no-brainer to add those existing channels. We don't have a lot of, like, cable doesn't have a lot of European programming, right?
Hmm.
Traditional
Um,
cable.
Well,
I'm not.
traditional. Well, back when we still subscribed to cable, I mean, yeah, there was Russian channels that we would
Oh, okay.
subscribe to. Yeah, right. But yeah, and that's what I'd like to see these
Yeah.
cord cutting services such as Hulu Live to offer. Right. I mean, my wife right now subscribes to all the Russian channels through some company
Yeah.
up in Canada, right? And it'd be nice to be able to bundle that together with Hulu, which I also subscribe to, right? And just get a little bit better deal on what we get right now.
Yeah. Bad
right?
Weave points out that he suspects it's the trick is pricing versus volume. You have to
Right.
get enough people adding on to recoup the cost of paying the carrier. So yeah, I mean, if
Well, hey,
if the channel already is available here in the U.S., it should be a no-brainer to offer it in a package. So yeah, call up
hey,
Hulu.
man. I mean, just look at Brooklyn, right? You can't swing a dead cat in Brooklyn without hitting somebody who speaks Russian, right?
Yeah. And there's a lot of people there swinging dead cats. At least
Yeah,
the last
exactly.
time I rolled through Brooklyn.
Hmm. Wow.
There's
I'm
more
never-
than one way to swing a dead cat.
I've never been to Brooklyn, but I don't think I want to go there now.
You're not missing much.
If you ever want to swing a dead cat.
Okay. YouTube has been available on all different kinds of platforms, including the old video game consoles, all the way back to the Nintendo Wii. But it looks like the Switch is finally going to be picking it up as one of their other streaming services available on the system. There's been rumors about Netflix and other ones, and Hulu's already been on there for a little while. So they've been slow to gather the streaming services on the portable game console, but it looks like with YouTube they'll be getting more soon.
So are you saying now you can switch to YouTube
Yes, from Hulu to YouTube
from
and to
switch from
back
Hulu to YouTube? Yeah.
That's all you can do, and that's pretty good actually. Unless there's something on Netflix, you've got almost everything. So.
Yeah.
So all the different platforms have had this because they're hooked up to your big TVs, and this can be hooked up to your big TV, but also being portable. The idea of watching your YouTube videos, which there's a lot of good stuff out there on the Switch. Everybody has one. The problem is everybody also has a phone, and your phone is almost as big as a Switch nowadays. So
I just thought of something. If you have YouTube integration on the Switch now, does that mean you'll soon have the ability to live stream directly to YouTube your games?
no, very not likely. That's not
Okay.
something that they do have a button on the left controller dedicated for sharing, just like all the other platforms do. But right now, the sharing goes to the local media, and then later you can upload it.
Oh, okay.
It is not live streaming at this time. That being said, it is based off an NVIDIA chipset inside there, and I believe the NVIDIA chipset has the ability to do the shadow streaming. I think it has the capability of doing that with no additional latency. So it's possible. That it's a good question. I mean, when are they going to start doing that? Because everybody else does. But then again, Nintendo doesn't always do what everybody else does. So
Yeah. Yeah. Rock on.
So we have a story about AT&T and their nice little $15 credit for unlimited wireless customers. They have, for the longest time, offered $15 credit to if you have their unlimited wireless plan.
I have that.
You're going to lose it. Basically, it looks like that they've announced that they're going to be dropping the $15 a month discount to AT&T Unlimited customers. So if you've been using that to get your DirecTV streaming service super cheap, maybe not.
Nope. Correction.
Mm.
If you read through that, the good news is it looks like current customers will get to keep the $15 discount. Only new customers will not be able to get it.
That I would say is fair.
Yeah, I mean, it was a promotion.
Nice promotion, and the promotion's over.
And it's just like in the early days of AT&T when they said, "Hey, you get for $100 a month, you get unlimited bandwidth." and then that went away eventually, right? But the people that had it, they got to keep it until they realized that, hey, I'm not getting what I want something better, and then they moved to a different plan. So yeah, when I first read this, I was like, damn it, I guess I need to go in there and cancel.
Nope.
But then I found out, oh no, I get to keep it. So awesome. My parents will be happy because they use it a lot, or at least my dad does. So
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is DirecTV struggling here? I mean, you keep hearing that, I mean, DirecTV's made the news quite a lot here recently.
No, this is okay. So DirecTV Now is not to be confused with DirecTV, the satellite company. That I mean, they're technically two separate entities. DirecTV Now has been, they've had record growth from when they launched and consistent people signing on. A lot of that is people like me that are already AT&T customers. I've got the unlimited plan, so therefore I get a $15 discount. So I'm paying like $5 a month or $10 or whatever.
Okay, record gross as opposed to what? I mean, what was before?
Well, in comparison, in comparison to the other streaming services they're competing with, like Sling, PlayStation Vue, blah blah blah. But a lot of it was padded because even though they had a record number of signups, there are people that aren't paying full price, like me. And that was only going to last for so long because they need to be able to actually make money. They dangled that carrot. They got a lot of people on board, so now they can take away that promotion and and then and get, I would say, after November 15th, whether we'll be telling if the signups stalls, if people continue to sign up for new service, if people don't leave. We'll see.
Yeah, I just wonder with Time Warner, the Time Warner deal and all that. Will DirecTV stay around? I mean, I hope that it does, right? Because I'd like to see it. I would like to see them stay there, right? I just wonder. You hear a lot about them in the news now, and most of it typically is not so good. Yeah. But I hope they stick around as a service provider.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think AT&T is going to be doing just fine. They're not going to be disappearing anytime soon.
No, they just need to stop being antagonistic against their competitors. That's something new, yeah.
Yeah. You know what they could use at the AT&T is they could use some fresh blood in their leadership, and somebody who would really shake up the company a little bit, because
somebody that work or lives in Washington, works for a school district.
No,
you're not volunteering for the job.
No, no, I wouldn't want that job unless I could do it from here. I'll call in. Yeah, I'll totally do it.
Be like, guys, what are you doing? Stop.
Say, hey, we're gonna do some cool things. Let's do what are we gonna do? I know. How about we be cheap? Let's be the pipes. Everybody talking about us. We're all gonna be pipes eventually. Let's just be the best pipe out there. We're gonna go ahead and be the fastest and best and be the most reliable. That's what I would do.
Best pipe you can be.
That's right.
All right.
All right. That looks like if you are a fan of the NFL Sunday Ticket, you may have a different option available to you in the future. NFL is considering different options for how they can provide a service like the Sunday Ticket to various streaming services, because streaming services become much more popular, including an idea of sending a direct-to-consumer option. So imagine your Sunday Ticket streaming service as a new available option for you, where you can watch it on any of your own supported devices. Would you? This is good because right now Sunday Ticket is like specifically to DirecTV Now, right? I can't remember who has that.
I don't know. Dish.
Yeah,
maybe.
a couple of them have.
Yeah, I
have
remember seeing the
exclusive rights to it.
commercials in the back in the day where you get Sunday Ticket. I thought it was on all of them, but
Hmm.
I don't know. Um, and yeah,
So yeah, it's just it's their own service where they could they get all the different games. So I think every Sunday game and a lot of the other games too. So I mean, it just means that you'll be able to watch anything you want. So I don't know. It's just if you're into the football and you want to watch it all, get ready for a possibility of you paying a monthly fee or something similar for you to get all this.
yeah. Media King 909 says they have Red Zone on cable because they couldn't have Sunday Ticket.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Red Zone. Yeah. So Sunday Ticket was a specific.
I think
And-
it's
and it
Direct TV because AT&T owns
Maybe.
it and stuff.
So I mean, it makes sense. And this is the natural evolution of something like that. They've got currently agreements that prevent them from providing this to a big enough audience. So they say, you know what, we're gonna whenever I'm sure that the date that this ends is probably centered around those agreements that they have it up to a certain point, and at that point they're not going to renew it, and then they just start bringing the same content to or make it available to everybody on the internet.
Right.
And it sounds like a good business move to me.
It's a win. They should do it.
Yeah.
It's my opinion.
You know what they shouldn't start doing though?
Pay taxes.
Charging state taxes.
Well, they are. PlayStation View is going to start charging for state taxes, mostly because it looks like there may actually be some type of legislation that's going to require all internet services to start doing that eventually. We've been seeing other big companies starting to require tax payment, including things like Amazon. So you're going to start seeing taxes on your new PlayStation View account. So is that going to affect your decision? PlayStation View supposedly is the one that's kind of struggling when it comes to the streaming services. Although also PlayStation View is the one that got on the Apple TV streaming service. So there have been people who've been really talking that up, saying they really love the live TV as part of the Apple's app. So how are they doing? Are they doing okay?
I was going to say the most important thing about this article, though, is to point out that the headline says they start charging sales tax in more states, which means they're already charging sales tax in some states because it's a requirement. All I have to say about that, it's one of the first phrases my children learned. Taxation. I asked them, I say, what is taxation? They say taxation is theft. That's all I have to say on
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, you're already paying, like, say, the telecommunications tax, right, on there, and then you you compound that with a state sales tax. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's just the states trying to, get in there to get their cut of that business, and all. Because I guess maybe that speaks to how well cord cutting is doing, huh? Now even the governments want to get in there and tax it now.
Well, I mean,
So-
it's there. Many of the states where they were already charging were because they passed laws that required any online transaction to, because just like mail order, the internet was always the way to get around paying the taxes because the person you're buying from is operating someplace else, so therefore they are not required to, because trying to keep up as a company, try to keep up with the tax laws of every single state is insane. So you typically just keep up with the ones for the state in which you reside, because it's like, okay, I can do that, and since if you were to order from me through the catalog, but we're in the same state, then I'm legally obligated anyway because I operate in your state. But I know Bernie Sanders was one of the people that was a hard charger behind the whole everybody needs to pay tax, especially online. So yeah, if you don't like this, you can yell at him and the people that teamed up with him to get these laws passed. So
Okay.
yeah.
I will ask you about that after the show. And that is the end of our news for this week, so I hope everybody enjoyed.
Yeah, and that brings us to the point of the show where we like to thank those of you that help make this show possible, the amazing patrons. Because it's now officially been a month. We have completed a billing cycle.
Wow.
And there's actually money in the account. And
that's weird.
It's it's a weird thing to get an email from Patreon saying, "Hey, you guys you got paid." So to all of those people, we say thank you. We appreciate it. There's a lot of things that we'd like to do. Some things that we'd like to do better, and this will help us kind of get further along that path. Mike and I, possibly Jimmy, are headed off to CES here in a couple months. I'm setting up my new studio. We just got the Discord server set up, so that which was a request from the patrons. So yeah, if you are a patron, if there's something that you want, you've got a direct line of communication to us, and I think, would you say priority when it comes to suggestions or requests?
Sure.
We welcome all suggestions and requests, but sometimes those suggestions get a little bit louder when there's a dollar bill attached to it, right? Like greasing the palm of the maitre d' at a restaurant. But yeah, so if you are one of our amazing patrons, we say thank you. If you are not, we ask, why not?
Bad Weave asks, question, prefer Patreon support or a Twitch sub? I know the best answer is both, but for those who have to choose one or the other, I would say either.
I would
whichever
say
one
either.
you'd like. Whichever one you'd like.
Yep. Whichever one works best for you.
Right.
Twitch sub gets you into the supporter role in the Discord, but Patreon gets you into the Patreon feed on Patreon. So if you want the audio feed, that Patreon is probably the place to go. Plus direct communication. But I mean, you've got that in both get you to the same. Behind the velvet rope in the Discord server. So,
and we think about you in our heart about the same level too.
Yeah. So awesome. Yeah. So if you got $1 or $2 burning a hole in your pocket at the end of each month, if you can afford it, and you don't, you're not going to feel the pain. We would appreciate your patronage. If you can't, no worries. We're still going to be doing this every week, as we have for the last 2 years.
Crazy.
Alrighty. Hey, why don't we check in with the Big Voice Jay?
Welcome to your Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of November 5th, 2018. I'm your host, Big Voice Jay. At long last, we can finally all come together to vanquish our dreaded foe, the pumpkin spice latte. It knows what it did. Let's go to the scoreboard. Team Vodsquad's in last place with $44.7 million. Team Movie Party's in 5th place with $60 million. Team Game Night's in 4th place with $85.7 million. Team Have a Drink is in 3rd place with $151.9 million. Team Drunk Kids Gaming is in 2nd place with $203.8 million. And in 1st place, it's Team Retro Misery with $242.8 million. That's your Movie Draft Minute. All totals are accurate as of November 7th, 2018.
All right, we'll bring Jimmy back into this.
Hey, Jimmy.
So what happened, guys? You were doing good there, and then you dropped down to last place.
Well, we still only have one movie out.
Oh, yeah, just Goosebumps?
And the movie we have is Goosebumps 2, which did not do as well as I hoped. But it's doing okay. Here's the thing. there's actually a lot of movies that are doing a lot worse than I expected them to do
Oh yeah.
so far. I mean, I'm looking at this list here and going, why is this movie doing that well and this movie is doing that poorly? I mean, look at First Man. First Man is like perfect example. We are tied with Goosebumps with First Man.
Well, actually,
this should not be the case.
Goosebumps did better. Goosebumps did better than first by like 2 million.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, but that's close enough. That's within the market.
I know it's small potatoes, but still, Goosebumps has bragging rights.
That's within the Johnny English Strikes Again margin of error of 3.5 million. So it's okay.
I mean, Johnny English is already seriously exceeding expectations.
No, I thought I was willing to spend a whole $4 on that. It has not yet met my expectations of that. It might.
Well,
make
I know
that level.
everybody thought it wouldn't even make $1 million, and it made almost 3.5. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that things are underperforming. I'm just saying there's a couple movies that are overperforming, like Venom. There is no way that movie should be at 200 million, even during the summer when, I mean, that movie was bad. It was terrible, yet people are still going to see it.
Yeah, well,
yeah, but I think it's just a time of the year, right? I mean, there's no other superhero movies out at that same time. Right?
the timing was good for being separated from other superhero movies. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
been a while since we got Ant-Man.
we'll
and so.
see. And I'm hope. Yeah, I don't know, but
No, so the reason why Venom is also because Homecoming was a decent success for the Spider-Man by Sony, and so hey, can they make just as good of a very beloved character out of Venom in that? And so people are going to go see it to see if they can do
but the thing
if
is,
Lightning Strikes twice.
I understand that in the first week,
Right.
but people are still going, knowing full well that it's a terrible movie, and they still going, and that's what I don't get. Because if it had stayed at 75 million or whatever it was when it opening weekend, okay, yeah.
So interestingly enough, the tomato score for Venom is 29%, but the audience score is 87%. There's actually a lot of people who do like this movie. So I understand that you couldn't handle the fact that they couldn't focus. Apparently, a good 87% of the moviegoers could get past that and enjoy the film.
They must have been stoned when they went to see the movie, so they couldn't tell that it was out of focus.
Maybe. Who knows?
I don't know. But yeah, I am looking forward to I will say I saw a preview the other day for your movie Overlord.
You finally saw the preview.
I think
That
that
movie-
looks good.
That movie could be a sneaking hit. I mean, it could just sneak up and...
But I think that was a October movie.
It would have been better. I agree. But also, that being said,
Not an almost Christmas movie.
That's true. So it will. Well, I think this upcoming weekend, this weekend is going to be Dr. Seuss. This is the Grinch. It's just they are going to own the weekend. I have no doubt about that. I will be happy if Overlord makes the weekend out with 20 million to start or more. That would be
I think
decent
everybody's
start.
going to take their kids to see The Girl in the Spiderweb.
I don't know, because that series has not been doing so well all together. So I don't know why this series would do much better.
Yeah, I don't think that's a kids movie, is it?
No,
It depends who your parents are.
it is from the Dragon series movies, and the girl with the dragon tattoo had made 100 million.
I
Over.
will say, if you saw the episode of Bob's Burgers, it took me a minute to get it. The Halloween episode of Bob's Burgers this year, the younger daughter, she dressed up as a dragon with a girl tattoo, and it took me a minute. and then I laughed. I laughed really hard.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, dragon with a
All
girl
right.
tattoo.
No, so but this
Dragon with a
weekend,
girl tattoo.
it's going to be Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. The question is, how high are they going to go? Are they going to break 100 million this first weekend? It's
we've
possible.
already established this is the year of bad judgment from the movie goers, so I think The Grinch is going to do pretty well.
So the question is how well is it going to be a blockbuster hit? And because we really have had some pretty decent hits, but nothing out of the park this first weekend. So I don't know. But people have legs.
Well, if Venom did as well as it did, then didn't I get him? I mean, maybe that means that Aquaman's also going to do well.
I suspect Aquaman will do well because people are looking at this and going, "This doesn't look like stupid Batman and stupid Superman. This looks like an actually interesting story with another character that nobody really has gone over."
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is where the money's going to be at that
weekend.
Well,
that's a gamble, but it could be a good one. You could either hit really good that weekend, or it could totally suck. So we don't know. But this weekend, the question is, how much money will Dr. Seuss's The Grinch make this weekend versus how much the Overlord will make based on people actually going, "Oh, this actually looks horrific and good." No, because it is. If you haven't seen the trailer, it's scary. Nazis with monsters. There you go. Mm-hmm. And then next weekend, we will be making our big push to see how far we can take us through the rest of this whole movie draft with Fantastic Beasts. If that does not, for whatever reason, perform well, we're screwed. But I suspect that actually that movie will carry us all the way to the end. But the other thing is Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. It's a holiday movie. It's going to be watched by people all this month and all next month too, because it'll actually carry for a long time too.
Yeah, so it should. You could argue that the girl with the spider's web should have legs, but I think that those legs are all in the Grinch.
No.
I want to see the Grinch with a whole bunch of legs. All right. Hey, why don't we? What do you guys got? Rants.
I want to just say that I've been busy trying to move things around in my house, and I've been, I've gotten things mounted, and like I had that wireless access point that I showed you guys that I got a while ago. I finally got it mounted on the ceiling. I finally got wires correctly going to different places in my house. It's basically sucked up all my weekends of just moving and rearranging stuff and putting this house in order and that kind of stuff. So my wife said, "Oh, hey, guess what? This last weekend, her favorite show," and I watch it with her, and it's actually pretty good. It's finally back on Stars. Is Outlander, which is the time traveling.
Subaru. That's brought to you by Subaru, right?
Outlander is the Highlander is the Toyota. The Outlander, that's the Outback. Is the
the
Subaru
Outlander Outback.
The Mitsubishi is the Outlander. That's right.
There can only be one.
Yep, the Mitsubishi Outlander. Okay.
Anyways, but no, it's the time traveling. What I really enjoy about the show more than anything else is the look at history and time travel in it. It's a lot of fun. Sure, it's got some sexy parts in it. That really is what's for you. But more importantly, is you get to watch famous things happening and real events and bad guys you love to hate. So if next new season's out and it got into a good start, so they got you in a nice, comfortable place, and just when you thought you were, like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. Nope, go somewhere else. It's not comfortable anymore, but that's how it should be. That's me.
Cool.
Good deal.
What about you, Jimmy?
Well, I finished up The Walking Dead. I watched, the whatever the current season on Netflix is, right, which I think is last year's season. So I finished that one up and enjoyed that, right, and then I was out on Netflix trying to find what else to watch, and I found this show called The Bodyguard. And
hearing a lot about this.
And let me tell you, I'm about 3 or 4 episodes into it, and oh my. The Bodyguard is great. I mean, if you are subscribed to Netflix, and have not seen The Bodyguard yet, go ahead and add that to your queue now. Right? That's a really good one to watch. Not one to watch with the kids, mind you, but it's very entertaining. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, I think one of the prime characters in the series is from the Game of Thrones. You'll know him as Robb Stark in Game of Thrones. But in the setting of this show is in Britain. This is a British show, by the way. It's about it's obviously it's about a bodyguard, right? Hence the title. But who he's a bodyguard of is the Home Secretary of Britain, right? So, but yeah, it's just a really good show. It starts off, it kind of catches your attention early on in the first episode, and just keeps your attention the whole time through. And the story just gets better and better as you go from episode to episode. So really enjoying that one, and cannot recommend it enough. One of the best shows I've seen in quite a while.
So is this the movie where the show where they sing that Dolly Parton song?
That's not Dolly Parton. That was what's her face, married to Chris Brown. Not Chris Brown. Bobby Brown.
Whitney Houston. Yeah, not that bodyguard.
No. Interestingly enough, that song was originally sung.
Was
Dolly
that
Parton.
okay? I'm thinking of okay. You're right. I forgot that was the song I thought there was a different song that Whitney Houston did that Dolly Parton did. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Well, no, I've heard lots of people saying that this is a good show and you should be watching it. So it's a good recommendation. I might have to check it out. We'll see.
Bad Weave says Chris Brown, Bobby Brown, they both know how to throw a punch, but Chris Brown doesn't have a docu-series on BET. I sat through the first 2-hour episode on accident and got sucked into it. Never went back to watch. Oh, that was when we were trying Philo, and never went back to watch the rest of the episodes. But that is not my rant or my rave. I have my rant and my rave is about the same thing, actually. Apparently, rant part, 30 days ago, Xiaomi announced a new Mi Box.
Yeah, I've heard about
Mi
this.
Box
New
S.
S, right? Yeah.
And I didn't know about it. I just found out about it today.
Oh.
And that is my rant, because I would have, wanted to get this thing. I've been waiting for a new version. But my rave is Xiaomi put out a new Mi Box, the Mi Box S. It's $60, so it's $10 cheaper than the previous one. This one does support 4K. And there is a deal right now. If you buy it at Walmart for $84, you get a Google Home Mini, which is like half price off, so like $25 off of the Google Home Mini. So if you want a Google Home and an Android TV, I think that's a killer deal. But it does have Oreo. So it's 8.1, even though Android 9 just came out, but I don't think that's available on any Android TV box yet.
Not a single one, not even the NVIDIA Shield. I have the Shield updated. It only has Oreos.
I was going to find, but the only downside that I could see was that they still haven't, on the performance side, it is still only 8 gigs of built-in memory. That's not enough to run most of the apps, especially since they show right there that they're playing Asphalt 8, which is my favorite thing to do on the Android TV, is play at. Yeah, but the problem is the way Android does that, you can't actually move. Things don't actually move all the time. That was the
No.
problem I had with my Mi Box, is even though I went in and I moved everything to USB or to SSD or micro SD, the stuff is still listed as using the internal storage. And so like Asphalt 8 is multiple gigs. So 8, you can put Asphalt 8 on an 8 gig unit, but not as long as you're not running anything else. So that is a downside. They really need to bump that up to minimum 16, if not 64. Because, I mean, that flash memory is not expensive.
Not anymore, and they can put a
that-
slot in there, so you can have a and just with the newer versions of the operating systems, you can move those things over a lot better. So maybe you can move it over with this new operating system.
Maybe with
it's a lot
Oreo.
easier.
I mean, because you
'Cause that was
you're
a big
supposed
thing.
to be able to with whatever's on my Mi Box. I think it's not. No, it's not Lollipop.
So
Marshmallow.
was that a gig memory or storage?
That's storage.
Oh.
It's got
Storage
2
only 8
gigs.
gig. Wow.
It's only got 2 gigs of RAM, but that's really all you need. I've never had a performance, but that's just storage.
Wow.
Yeah, 8 gigs of MMC flash.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's. I thought maybe you might have been confusing that with memory, but if that's
No.
storage, wow.
Yeah,
that's
there's a
It's
similar-
right there. The one thing that I do like about this is, and I believe it's better than the previous one, is this one has a 3+2 core GPU in addition to the quad core CPU. I think my previous one only had a 3 core GPU, and it was great. So I mean, I assume they probably need that additional GPU for the 4K.
4K.
Yeah. And so I mean, yeah, Asphalt 8 looks great on my old one, and it still plays awesome. So
Interesting, the related note. I had the NVIDIA Shield hooked up into my system as a Plex server for about a year and a half or so, and it worked okay. But when it came to trying to go through and flip through the different movies, it was horribly slow,
lag.
and I wasn't certain
Yeah, lots
why
of
it was
lag.
taking so long to do that. One of the things they recommended on the website about the documentation of running the Shield server on there is that you wanted to have a good, fast USB card, and there was a certain way you could set it up so this would appear as internal memory. You could do that on the NVIDIA Shield. So I don't know if that's something you could do on the new S box.
we'll see, because like on the previous version of Android TV, it does show up as internal memory, but it's a second, like it shows up as a second partition, and you can go in there and manually tell it to move, and it says, hey, I moved it, but the system still shows that space is used on the primary, even if it was actually moved. So trying to do updates and stuff, it's like, oh, hey, there's not enough room. Even though there's nothing installed on here, there's not enough room. So I hope they fix that. That was a real drag. And it's because I've been moving stuff on my Android phones since, years ago. I always move everything to my installed memory card. So.
As a side note, I did move my my Plex server to a dedicated machine. It's right over here, and running off of that, running Linux, it is so much faster.
Oh, yeah.
And so responsive,
Yep.
and it is a pleasure to use remotely, locally. I got about like this last weekend. We had family come over yet again, and but my son said, "Hey, Dad, I saw at the store that they now have Teen Titans Go to the Movie. I was thinking of buying it." At which point I said, "No, you don't have to buy it. I'm going to go buy it." So we went and bought the DVD and ripped it and put it on there. And
Did you watch
we
it?
all sat back, and watched it again. It was not as funny the second time. I guess I was more.
Oh, wait.
worked up for
Sorry.
it.
I forgot it was Mike that we were trying to get to watch it. Yep.
Well, if Mike needs to some type of excuse to watch it, I will provide him with a way to watch it.
Oh, I mean, he can just run through
Fire.
that tunnel that takes him to Washington. You can visit
Whatever.
Washington.
He needs to watch that movie.
Yes, he does.
Quite frankly. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. So, again, thank you to everybody that tuned in to watch this live. Make sure you stick around for the after show. We will go through and choose a title. So right now is your reminder to go over to tbs.showbot.tv. Vote for and vote for that titles that you want. Vote for everything. Don't just choose one. Just vote for everything that you like. And then, guys, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Mike, you better feel better. We are here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central. So if you're listening to this or watching this after the fact, join us live. It's a lot more fun. And you get to submit titles.
And you get to, chat about to us and say how silly we are or stupid
And
we are. We're
correct
saying
us and
stupid
tell
things.
us, hey, whoa, no, you're completely wrong.
That's right.
Yeah. Call us the Dumas.
Dumas.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.